Hey, thanks for checking out this video. I'm Jim Langley, your host, and one of the things I do on this channel is check out production wheel sets. You know, have a fine set of wheels is the easiest way to drastically improve the performance of any bicycle, road bike, mountain bike, gravel bike. And I've looked at a bunch of wheels from different manufacturers, most of them Chinese carbon wheels, and checked them out from the perspective of a wheel builder, professional wheel builder, which is what I am, a mechanic too. And I look at the wheels with an eye towards how they were built. So can a factory build a wheel as good as a custom wheel builder? That's always the question. So I look at these wheels and I check them out. And that's what I'm going to do today with the new set of wheels that were sent to me from Magene. These are the EXAR UltraDark carbon road wheels, model DB405. They also make a DB508, the difference being the height of the rims. This is a super light carbon fiber road set, has some nice features, carbon spokes, different rim profiles, different rim heights, has a star ratchet, and it should be a great pair of road wheels. Let's check out what's inside the box. So bicycle wheels are delicate, and it's important that they're packed properly when they ship them to you so that they don't show up damaged. So I'll show the unpacking, the unboxing next so you can see how they come from Magene. First, I wanted to let you know that Magene has generously offered a 10% discount on these wheels. That's $100 off. And all you got to do is put in the code JIM10 when you check out purchasing the wheels. So that's great, and thanks a lot, Magene. The other thing is that in the description, I'm going to put a link to a very interesting video where they go inside the factory and show you the factory and how these wheels are built. It's a great video. I've never been to China to check how things are manufactured, but the technology is out of this world, and I think you'll enjoy the videos. So look for that link in the description. And lastly, I wanted to give a shout out to all the new subscribers and all my loyal viewers and subscribers. Thanks a lot for watching the channel, and I appreciate your support. Now on with the show. The EXAR UltraDark hoops are really nicely protected with a tough box that's even inside a plastic wrap for waterproofing. That's the first time I've seen that with wheels. Inside the small parts bag you get an owner's manual, tubeless tape, and valves, and rim plugs in case you want to run tubes instead of tubeless tires. There are foam blocks in the top and bottom of the box that hold the wheels in place, ensuring they can't hit each other and that impacts of the box shouldn't affect the wheels. There's also foam between the wheels and over the free hub to shield the wheels further. Thanks to the expert packing, they arrived in perfect condition. Let's take a good look at these wheels, starting with weight, since it has so much to do with performance. Magene specs list a pair weight of 1,305 grams plus or minus 3%. My wheels weigh 729 grams for the rear and 618 for the front, for a total of 1,347 grams, which is in keeping with what Magene said. The rims alone weigh 410 and 419 front and rear, plus or minus 20 grams. That's a feathery weight. I'm looking forward to feeling these wheels launch and climb on the road. I bet they feel fast. Contributing to the lightness are the carbon fiber spokes by Vanoa, which Magene says are 30% lighter and provide a 30% higher tensile strength than steel spokes. That strength helps optimize the drive efficiency too. In case you're wondering about the durability of carbon spokes, I have them on another pair of wheels I tested, and in thousands of hard miles, mostly on gravel and including a few crashes, they have held up perfectly. You do feel the boost in lightness, quickness, and lateral stiffness over steel spokes. For more balanced spoke tension and max wheel strength, Magene uses a 2-to-1 spoke pattern. This means there are 21 spokes in each wheel, with 14 on the drive side rear and disc side front. Those spokes are laced cross too. Meanwhile, on the other side of the wheels, there are 7 spokes that are radially laced. Moving up to the rims, they're made of a high modulus carbon and aero profiles. The front is 40 millimeters tall, while the rear is 45 millimeters. So you get the best of both worlds, more aerodynamic wheels front and rear with easy steering control and crosswinds too. Assisting with control and comfort, the rims are 23 millimeters wide inside and 30 millimeters wide on the outside, which is perfect for running 28 to 32C tires, and also is designed to smooth airflow past the tire and rim. Also, these are hook bead rims, so you're not limited in what tires you can run. Magene says the wheels are designed for TPU tubes too, and they actually include rim grommets for the rim holes, so you don't need rim strips. That's a nice touch. Moving on to the hubs, Magene says their design optimizes the support for carbon spokes, improving driving efficiency, and that the bearing bores are processed with smooth edges to minimize bearing losses. They use high-quality NBK bearings. Speaking of driving efficiency, the cassette free hub features a star ratchet drive, which most consider a step up from a pawl drive. Magene's star ratchet comes with a 36 tooth. Should you want quicker engagement, you can go to a ratchet with more teeth. Another great detail on the UltraDarks. Next up, I'll run the wheels through a build quality inspection. So we're all set up to check out these brand new wheels from Magene. I've got my tools out here. I've got a nice screwing stand. I've got a spoke tensionometer. I've got a dishing gauge, which checks the centering on the rims. And we're going to run through a bunch of checks just to see the quality of the wheels that they built. You never know. Sometimes a production wheel from a factory, they miss things. And if you don't do a quality control check like this, you might find that the wheels aren't as true as you would like or as round as you would like. Or there might be other issues like twisted aero spokes and things. So that's what we're going to do here. It'll probably take a little while, but it won't take that much. And I think you'll learn something. I'll talk a little bit about what we're doing while we're doing it. So the checks that we do, we're going to do trueness, which is side to side, roundness up and down, rim centering, also called dish. That has to do with how the wheel sits in the frame. Spoke length, spoke tension. We'll check for spoke twist since they're bladed spokes, aero spokes. And then we'll check to see if the wheels were stress relieved. And then just a couple tire checks. We'll see if the tires go on and off easy because you don't want tires not working on the rims. And we'll check for installation and removal, both of those. So we'll get started. We'll start with trueness, which is side to side. So we'll do the front wheel, then we'll do the rear wheel. Other way around, that's the front wheel, that's the rear wheel. So we give the wheel a spin, we adjust the caliper, and we see what kind of clearance there is between the rim and the caliper right here. And that's just about perfect. You can see a tiny little deviation, but that's less than a millimeter, less than a half a millimeter, I would say. So that's really good. So now we'll do the same thing with the rear wheel. You got to remember that wheels can get beat up in shipping sometimes, but they can also get built not as perfect. You pay money on a fine pair of wheels, you want them to be as true as possible. So now we got the rear wheel in here. We'll do the same thing. You're hoping that both wheels are exactly the same. If one wheel was different than the other wheel, it might tell you that there was a difference in the quality of the rims. Wheelset actually has two different rims. One's 45 millimeters deep and one's 40 millimeters deep. So they aren't exactly the same. But this rim is just like the other wheel. The rear wheel is just as true as the front wheel. And that's nice to see. So that's very good. So we got the rear wheel in here already, so we'll switch to check the roundness of the wheel. To do that, we're going to change the pointer, the indicators, the caliper here. We're going to bring them in like this, and then we'll bring them up. And we want to see if the rim has any lateral runout. Is there any hop? Or is there a dip, a low spot or a high spot? And there's nothing. This is a really nice round wheel. Beautiful, they did a great job. That's nice to see. So now we'll switch, go back to the front wheel, adjust the caliper the same way, up close to the bottom of the rim. And the front wheel is really round too. Nice job, Magene. These are two really nice round wheels. When you build a wheel, the rim is actually centered between the lock nuts, which makes sense because the wheel is going to go in the frame, and you have a disc brake in here which takes up space, so the rim has to be offset a little bit. So you want to check to make sure that when they got done with that process of tightening and adjusting the spokes, the rim is centered. And to do that, you have a centering gauge, which is what this looks like. They call it a dishing gauge, or sometimes you call it dishing tool. And so what we're going to do is, this works as a sort of like a feeler gauge. You put it on one side of the rim. And there's 3 feet. There's a foot here, a foot here, and a foot here. And they all want to touch. So we put it together like this, and then we bring the foot in the middle down so that it touches. You want to be fussy with this thing. You want it to be, you're trying to get it in with like a millimeter. Even less than a millimeter if you can get it. There we go. So now it's touching in 3 places. If I put it on here, it's touching here, here, and here. Now if the wheel is properly centered, because it touches in those 3 points, when you flip it over, it'll touch in those 3 points over here. And look at that. It's good. It's the same on one side as it is on the other side. That's what we were hoping to see. So the front wheel is good. Now we got to do the rear wheel. The rear wheel hub, of course, is wider than the front. And here you can sort of see it when you look at the wheel, because you've got the gears over here. There's a bunch of gears over here, cogs, the cassette. They take up a lot of space. There's also a disc, going to be a disc brake on this side, but this takes up more space. So you can almost see that the spokes on this side are straight, spokes on this side are more angled. And we check centering the same way. So I got it touching on all 3 points. I'll flip it over. And we hope it touches on all 3 points here. It's very good. So they got the centering really good on the wheels. So that's really nice. The next step is to take a quick look at spoke length. So you can see that the spoke is all the way at the top of the spoke nipple, which is exactly how you want it. And they're like that on both wheels all the way around. So they got the spoke length really nice. So now we're going to check spoke tension. When we check spoke tension, we just check the tightest side of the wheel, which on the front wheel is the disc side, on the rear wheel it's the cassette side. So to do it, we're going to put it back in the truing stand because that's the easiest way to do it. And then I use a Wheel Fanatic tensionometer because it's what I've used the most and I'm the most familiar with. And it's a very high quality tool. And it's going to put a number on the spokes. So as I measure the spokes, you'll be able to see the number. And what I'm hoping to see is that the spokes on this side of the wheel are close to the same number all the way around. And we'll just go around the wheel. And you want to zero it out before you take the measurement. So we're going to check, we're going to go around, we're going to check each one. So we got 30, 26, 30, 29, 27, 30, 29, 29, 29, 30, 30, 29, 28, and 31. So the lowest was 26, the highest was 31. But around the wheel, the average was 29 or 30. The fact that the wheel is as round and true as it is, that's what you would expect to see with such even tension. So that tension is really good on this front wheel. So this time we'll do the right-hand side. That one was actually the left side, the disc side, but the cassette side on this wheel is the tighter side. Pretty interesting construction. See, it's 2 to 1, so there's 2 over here one over here. That balances the tension, that's the idea. So we're gonna go around and we'll check this one. So just like we did that one. 31, 29, 30, 30, 28, 29, 30, 29, 30, 27, 30, 29, 27, and 28. So I don't see any issues with the tension, so that's good. Because if there's even tension in the wheels, it's very likely that they'll stay the way they are. That's really important for a good wheel to have even tension like that. So they did a nice job, very nice job on the tensioning. So now we check spoke twist. Yeah, these wheels are interesting because the rims are different heights. And that's so that in a crosswind, the front wheel doesn't get knocked around as much. So you get the benefits of aerodynamics, the larger rim in the back, smaller rim in the front, without any issues with the wind blowing you around when you're like descending a hill. So since they went to all the trouble to get the wheel aerodynamic, the trouble of making two different rims, and they have carbon spokes and they're flat carbon spokes, you hope that the flat carbon spokes are slicing through the wind and not at an angle to the wind and actually creating turbulence and slowing you down. So for that, I have a little tool from Park Tool. It's the bladed spoke holder, but it also is the perfect tool for checking. And what we do is we just go around the wheel, and we put the tool on the spoke. The tool is the same thickness as the spoke. So we put it up, let me find the right one. There's 4 different shapes. So that's the closest fit right there. That's a nice snug fit. So what we're looking for is if that spoke is oriented straight ahead, this will be nearly lined up with the cassette. If it was off like this, well, obviously that spoke is tilted into the wind. And we'd want to fix that, right? So if this is how you want it, like this, it's like this, well then the spoke is a fan blade. It's sideways to the wind. You don't want that. So we'll just go around, we'll check every single spoke, and I'll just say good, bad. This is a tight fit, so I'm just going to be gentle with it, not push it on all the way. But that one's fine. You can see it's lined up with the hub. We'll keep going around. So see, that one's off a little, but I wouldn't worry about that. The weight of the tool affects it a little. It's really close. What I'm looking for is something way out. That's really good. So this one and this one exactly the same. They're not perfect. Like that one. None have been bad so far. None I'd worry about. Same, similar. That one's close to where I might want to move it a little bit. See how it's not really in line? Another one that's not perfect. I mean, it's fussy to get these exactly right. You got to spend a lot of time with it. I have a whole separate video. If you have a wheel with the spokes that aren't as aligned as you'd like them, like if you touch the flat part of the spoke, it feels like it's into the wind. My other video shows you how to fix it. It's not hard, but you want to do it the right way. Yeah, these are out a tiny bit. See, that one's spot on, straight. That's what I would hope, that they were all spot on. This one I wish was up a little more. That's close. That's close. Pretty good. Wouldn't worry about that. That one's okay. That one's really good. That one's out a little bit. Another one I'd move just a little bit. And that's it. So they're really good. They're not perfect. If I was building this wheel, I would have tried to get a couple of those a little more horizontal. So we'll check the front wheel now. So that's pretty good. Not perfect, but pretty good. Similar to the other one. That one's really good. That one's off a little, see? See, when you tension the wheel at the very end, you go around, you add layers and layers of tension. You tighten the spokes, you tighten them again, you tighten them again, you keep checking them. That's when aero spokes tend to get off kilter. This tool right here is a bladed spoke holder. This is designed that you hold when you're tensioning the wheels so that they don't twist. I'd like to know what they do in the factory where they build the wheels to make sure that they don't twist. I have a feeling that they may not have the best tools, or maybe they're just not aware that it matters. I'm not sure. That one's good. That one's pretty close. That one's off a little. That one's off a little. That's pretty close. That's good. That's good. That's pretty good. That's off a little. Definitely off a little. Pretty good. That's off a little. That's off kind of enough that I would fix it. That's off a little. That's perfect. They can get them perfect when they want, but it shouldn't be just one that's perfect. They should all be perfect. That's off too. So this wheel is very similar to the rear wheel. I wonder if they even have this step where they go around and make sure they're all perfect. That should be one of the last things you do. Now we're going to check something called stress relieving. We want to check to see. Now they have incredible tools at the factories. They have like pneumatic presses that press on the wheels when they're building to take any stress and make sure that the nipples are seated in the rim, seated in the hub, and there's no stress built into the wheel. Like if you had a spoke that wasn't laying completely straight, it could affect the wheel later down the road if you didn't fix it. So you want to stress relieve the wheels. And what I'm going to do is put a little lateral pressure on the wheel, and then we're going to see if it goes out of true. If it goes out of true, that'll tell us that it probably wasn't stress relieved. But I'd be really surprised if we find a problem. These wheels, these factory built wheels, Chinese wheels, are really stiff usually laterally, and they spend a lot of time stress relieving. So, but to do it, I'm just gonna hold the wheel. I have it's not a rubber floor, it's kind of a plastic floor, but it won't hurt the hub and it won't hurt the rim. It's gonna look like what I'm doing is a little violent, but I'm not really putting that much pressure on the wheel. I'm not stomping on it or anything. So I'm gonna just go around the wheel one time, and I'm going to put a little pressure all the way around the wheel. Because by stressing the rim sideways, if there was something wrong, a spoke might twist, change position, loosen, and if I could get that to happen, it would indicate that they didn't do it at the factory. So I'm going to put the valve stem right here so I know where I start. I'm just going to push, push. Now sometimes if you do this and the wheel wasn't stress relieved, it'll make a clicking or ticking sound. You can see I'm flexing it. I'm not putting my full weight on it, but I'm definitely putting pressure on the rim. Go around. And we'll do the other side too, just to give it a fair workout. While I'm down here, I might as well do the rear wheel. Yeah, when you do this, I mean, a wheel that's different construction, there's so many different types of construction, but you can feel like a lot of aluminum rims, aluminum wheels, you'd actually feel the rim move. But I can't get these wheels to move at all. But you know, they have carbon spokes, pretty deep carbon rims. It's a pretty tough construction. And it's impressive because they only weigh 1,300 grams, which is next to nothing. So now we'll just put them in the truing stand. What we're expecting to see is that they're just as straight side to side as they were in that first check we did. I think we had like less than a half a millimeter runout. Yeah, look at that. It didn't change a bit. It's exactly the same as it was before. That's a great thing to see. That means they were stress relieved. I didn't think they would not be stress relieved, but anytime you check a production wheel, you want to check that. So we'll check the rear wheel. No, didn't move a bit. It's exactly the same. So that's great. That tells you a couple things. One thing, it tells you that the wheels were stress relieved, but also tells you that when you ride these wheels down the road, you hit a pothole, you have to jump something that they're not going to go out of true. When you buy wheels and when you buy tires, you should be able to put them on the wheels without a hassle. Tires are designed to go on and off easily so that you can fix flats on the road and so you can set up tires. So one thing we want to check is the width of the rim tape if you're going to set the wheels up for tubeless tires. So Magene provides tubeless tape. I just want to make sure that it fills the rim. The problem you see sometimes is they provide rim tape, but it doesn't completely cover the bottom of the rim. I'm not going to actually install it. I'm just going to put a little bit in here to see if it lays flat. I want it to go basically wall to wall. I want it to go from this sidewall to that sidewall. And you can see that they did their homework and they had that right. So to put this in, of course, you'd pull it snug and you'd make sure there's no bubbles. And you go around with your fingers and your thumb and make sure it lays flat all the way around. And this looks like other rim tapes I've used, a tough plastic that will seal it. And then I want to take a look at the valve. You can see that these does have removable valve cores. You have to have that for tubeless. It looks like they've got a little washer that's the right diameter to fit their rim and the rubber base, and they're long enough for the depth of the rim. So the valves look very nice to me. That's an aluminum cap, I think, which is nice. They're more durable. So the valves are nice, and the rim tape, tubeless tape, looks very good. So now we're going to put on a tubeless ready tire, a Pirelli tubeless tire. I like these tires. I've been riding Pirelli gravel tires and Pirelli road tires. The performance is really good. So let's see, this is a brand new tire, P0, 700 by 30C, so it's 30 millimeters wide. Right out of the box. Let's see if we can put it on the rim. And they gave me a Pirelli bracelet. So we're just going to see if we can put it on the rim, and then we'll see if we can take it off. That'll be a test. Then I have another tire, sort of a more conventional tire, another type of tire. It's also 30 millimeters wide. So let's see, I think these things are directional. Not that it matters for putting it on. I can't see a directional arrow. Ah, there it is. Okay, so let's go on like this. I'm not going to worry about lining up the labels. I'm just going to put it on. I don't have the rim tape in there, but rim tape is so small. Yeah, look, you put this tire on in your sleep. Basically, I won't buy tires if they have a reputation of being difficult to put on the rim. And I recommend that if you buy tires from a bike shop or mail order, make sure you can return them if you can't get them on, and go back and get a pair that you can get. It's about 85 degrees in here and my hands are all sweaty. But there you go, tubeless ready tire. Went on, no problem. I'm not going to pump it up. I don't have any sealant in there or anything. But one of the features of these wheels is that they actually talk about in their engineering documents that they're trying to make the profile or the shape between the rim and the tire flow so that it's more aerodynamic, which is interesting. Every little thing to help you out is worth it. So let's see if we can get it off. You kind of want it to resist coming off. This is a hook bead rim. It's got a lip on the rim. Yeah, it's gonna take tire levers maybe to get this off, which is fine. That's what tire levers are for. Putting tires, taking tires off. Should never need tire levers to put tires on. I'll keep trying a little bit. Ta-da! So you can get it off by hand and you can put it on by hand. And that's a modern tubeless ready tire. So let's tie a Grand Bois tire. This is a folding bead tire. It's just a little more traditional kind of tire. This is kind of an old tire. I've had it for a while. It's good to try different tires on. See, yeah, look at this tire. Again, part of this is the base, the rim strip. If you have a thick rim strip, it makes it a lot harder. But if you use this for the rim strip, it's going to barely add any thickness at all, because what is it, 1/10 of a millimeter thick? It's almost next to nothing. So that went on really easy. It's going to come off even easier. So there you go. Look how easy that came off. I sort of expected that. These are nice tires, these Grand Bois tires. I have these on a few of my bikes. They look really nice on vintage bikes. With all the checks done, we can grade the wheels. And it's easy, since the wheels are so nicely built. I give them straight A's except for spoke twist, which is A- because, while a few were off, most of the spokes were aligned or close to it. Everything else on the EXAR UltraDarks checked out really well, so top marks Magene, well done. Overall, it's obvious that the EXAR UltraDarks are expertly designed and solidly built wheels at only 1,347 grams and with dedicated front and rear wide carbon rims laced with super light stiff carbon spokes and a star ratchet drive. They offer impressive value too. Plus you get carbon hook bead rims, and the tires go on really easy. The wheels are round, very, very true, centered perfectly, spoke length is right, and these are very nice wheels. Should be a great pair of wheels. I'll find out when I get them on my bike and put some miles on them. If you have any specific questions about the wheels, I'll be happy to answer. I reply to every comment. So thanks a lot for watching. Hope you liked the video. If you did, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.